Hey guys, welcome to Should Have Turned Left, a new battle report channel based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm Ben, Canadianized on the forums.
I'm Riley, Spartan Ryar 63 on the forums.
And we are going to be each other's opponents in this match. I'm playing Legion of Everblight today. Thagrosh 1, Blightbringer, Ravagore, Shredder for my battle group. I have 1 Shepherd, 2 units of War Spears with UA, and 2 Strider Deathstalkers.
I'm going to be playing Fiora, Protector of the Flame from Protectorate of Menoth today. I've got a Hierophant, Judicator, and 2 Repenters in my battle group, a Reclaimer solo, a Vassal of Menoth solo, Vassal Mechanic solo, Nicaea, the Tier of Vengeance, the Covenant of Menoth, a Paladin of the Order of the Wall, a max unit of Choir of Menoth, a max unit Holy Zealots with Monolith Bear, and a min unit of Exemplar Bastions.
Alright, so Riley won the die roll and decided to go second, right?
That's right, second.
Any particular reason for that?
Well, I wanted the terrain, that rough terrain in the middle of the board on the other side was a bit rough.
Oh, there's Ares.
Well, yeah, there's Ares. But yeah, it doesn't really work well for trying to get myself up the board, which I mean, I think it was 6 to 1, half a dozen the other, because there was the forest there. But yeah, so we see the pre-deploy just kind of setting up.
Yeah, so for those of you at home, I did try to hit the start button, and apparently that didn't work out so well, so we caught it there, tried to make it up. So I deployed my Blightbringer centrally just because I saw the hill in the center of the table, and a huge base on a hill is a very, very fun thing, because nothing can hide from it afterwards. Any particular reason you put the Judicator a bit off center?
I put it a bit off center. I was hoping that you were going to deploy a little bit heavier on one side than the other, maybe go after my objective. But then again, it's also a range 14, so it can reach most of the board, even off center. So
you have seen me play this list before. When do I skew to one side that often?
It's true, but one can always hope, right?
No, the centerpiece of my army is that Blightbringer. The benefits he gives my War Spears are just great. Making them armor 18 if they're close to them. Making their spears power 15 versus non-prey, power 17 versus prey, and God forbid Thagrosh puts Draconic Blessing on them, so they're powered 19. So I mean, on top of just having the Blightbringer Central, the 5-inch aura that he has, I try to keep Thagrosh and my War Spears near him, just to benefit from it. It's not always that easy to do, so I try to guess which flank is going to be weaker, and that's where I'll generally have my War Spears put off more to the side. Alright, so go ahead and explain your...
Definitely. So I've got a Fiora and the Hierophant lining up right next to the Judicator. Sitting next to the Judicator, taking advantage of Escort. That's pretty awesome. Makes the Judicator speed 6, or charging gives him a speed... that 4, 7, 9-inch charge. With
but by the way, we paused the clock because at this point Riley realized the Covenant of Menoth was in this list and he didn't have the model out.
It's true. I definitely forgot the Covenant of Menoth, because that's what happens when I try to remember my list from memory. But yeah, so as you can see, Fiora just kind of lines up in the middle of the board, 12-inch control area.
Yep. That was a rough transition.
A little bit. 12-inch control area gives her pretty good spread to keep Jax in her control area. See the Covenant of Menoth going down on the other side, just kind of give a wide spread command area. The Repenter goes down on the far side of that, kind of holding that. Oh, I switched it around there. I don't remember I did that, but it happens, you know. Other Repenter goes down. I kind of like to put those 2 guys on the far end of the battle line. Gives me a good spread with the Spray 8 under battle POW 14 Flamers.
Yeah, so you can see from the timestamp, this is not a short game. It's kind of easy to forget certain things.
Oh, this was not a short game at all. There you see the Zealots going down on the end. They're a pretty good unit, just kind of locked down one side of the board for a whole turn, especially with the Greater Destiny.
So any particular reason for the wall side instead of hillside?
Well, I think I wanted the hillside more for my solos. You'll see me line those up a little bit later on. I'll put Nicaea over there. I'll put the Paladin over there.
What did you forget here?
The Zealot UA.
Oh!
Yeah, the Zealot UA, because he's supposed to kind of go in the back there and give him a Command 9, which is pretty nice. You can spread those Zealots out really far under a Command 9. I've been really surprised by how much I can spread. I mean, 18 inches essentially across the board of zealots throwing their bombs. It's pretty nice.
Useful when you're up against AoEs in general too.
Yeah, really. Reclaimer goes down, sit next to the zealots so that he can capitalize once they start to die, because they do. They're only Def 12, Armor 12.
On the first attack.
On the first attack.
That's one of the great things about the Monolith Bear that makes it such a pain in the butt is after I kill one, once the attack's done, the rest go to Armor 16.
That's true. That's true.
Thankfully, Sniper doesn't care.
Yeah, Sniper doesn't care. That's super nice.
Versus stuff like POW 10 guns, that Armor 16 suddenly becomes a much more difficult beast to deal with.
It's true. It's true. Just throwing down my support pieces right now. The choir kind of set them out.
Which is important to remember. You have a max choir in this list.
Yeah, this is a max choir, not a main choir.
So 3 jacks, 6 choir members. So my advanced deploy is easy. I'm like, oh hey, cool. There's single wound models over there. Put one Strider Deathstalker and put the other one to just kind of, and yeah.
So there we go. My advanced deploy was just nice. So we went ahead and prayed my Judicator, which is a pretty logical choice, I would assume.
Yeah, it seemed like the most reasonable thing to do. So the War Spear UA gives them granted Huntsman, so as long as the Chieftain's in play, they have Prey. So, and for some reason that guy is FA2. This is not a theme force.
That's beware the banhammer the Privateer Press will throw down.
No, it's going to be on Crow Craters first, let's be honest.
That's entirely true. Crow Craters are way too good. Definitely.
No, so my plan here, typical first turn for me, but for the Strider Deathstalker towards the top of the screen there, I just ran her full bore towards the Zealots, actually kind of hoping they would Greater Destiny, just if the threat of being able to pick off 2 to 4 of them trivially would proc that or not. The other one I put in the zone just to kind of threaten a large chunk of the board. 19-inch threat range is not small. So other than that, the rest of my first turn is going to be pretty standard. My Bladebringer always does a Strength Armor Aura on the first turn and runs, because it is Speed 4. It is... There have been games I have run that thing twice. Seriously, Speed 4 hurts.
Hey, welcome
Speed
to
4
Menoth,
really
man.
hurts. Yeah, you have Escort in this list.
Well, it's true. Escort is a good bonus. You'll see that in a bit. Escort's pretty nice.
Anyways, both units of War Spears you're going to see run up. Again, they're kind of slow, so they just go as far forward as they can. Try to keep as many of them in the Blightbringer aura as possible. While you don't have any direct shots, I know you have a bunch of AoEs. So I'm going to try to mitigate damage from that as much as possible. Other than that, so I'm checking line of sight here to make sure my other unit of War Spears can see and get decent charge lanes to models across, because again with the UA they have Relentless Charge. So the first War Spear I move in this unit is going to charge, because that is a rough terrain patch on the table. And I don't feel like running through it, so might as well get the distance for him to get up, and then everybody else runs. These guys, because that side of the table is so weak on your deployment, I feel like I can spread them out a bit further from the Blightbringer, just to kind of help threaten that side. So I guess I should say my goal for this game is, well, it's more or less the way this list plays. I just try to win on attrition. My biggest target is to try to get the Judicator. You have a min unit of Bastions. I know they can deal a lot of damage if they get in, so I want to get rid of those. And my Revacor is just rallying and running, again, for near threat projection. Nicaea has a bunch of attacks. I want to get rid of her as fast as I can as well. I don't know, it's first turn, everything runs. I mean,
pretty standard first turn.
Yeah. While this is a live scenario, I have a feeling, just right off the bat, I'm slow. I don't plan on being able to gen on scenario at any point in the game. So hey, everything's done. I passed my turn.
Definitely. So first turn, there's no allocation. Nobody gets any allocation, if I remember right. The Judicator starts off with one from Reliquary, which is pretty nice, so it kind of always has one. So start off with the Hierophant here and cast Harmonious Exaltation, which gives me -1 to cast on one of my spells. I'm a Warcaster, so it's kind of nice focus use there. So I spend 1 for Escort, which is an upkeep spell, which gives +2 inches of movements to my Jax, and then gives me a +2 armor while within 3 inches of one of my Jacks, so it's a pretty good support spell. Also spend 2 to put Ignite up on the Bastions. I think that's just a good upkeep spell to put up early, so you can keep it up. It gives them +2 to attack damage rolls, which is really nice. Then Fiora just moves forward, kind of getting herself out of the kill box, because there is a kill box in this scenario.
Yes, there
which is terrible.
What's wrong with kill box?
Oh.
Come to me.
Well, this is
Come
also
to my gun.
This is Fiora. She doesn't like to stay in the kill box anyways. So the Repenter just walks forward. I didn't move him his full 7. I think I was playing maybe a little cautiously here. But then again, those War Spears can do a lot of damage, especially to a arm 17 light Jack. I mean, that could be a wreck marker in a turn. So here the Bastions are just walking up. They're kind of in the list just to form like a wall in front of Fiora that you can't trample over, and they kind of sit base to base, and you can't swing through them. So that's kind of why they're in there. They're also they fill points. They're like 5 points for a new unit. So.
This got to me a few turns. It's like, hey, Judy advances 6.
Yeah, the Judy advances 6, which is super great. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just try to start drifting some shots into people here. I'm measuring my control right here. I'm pretty sure debating whether or not I wanna shoot at people. So go ahead and take a shot at the War Spears, that orange unit. And I know I'm gonna drift. I'm about 2.5 inches short there. But not a bad drift.
Hey,
it drifts back into him. And the nice thing is the Judy's bonded to Fiora, so everything that it does causes fire, which is great, because Fiora and fire. Enough said. Yeah, so and then the secondary blast happens, and I don't remember quite where it scatters. I think it scatters back and catches like another person. Of course, I
don't remember at this point either. And it comes straight back 1 inch. Oh, that's right. That guy got double tapped.
I double tapped the dude. I don't think I actually hurt him because he's in the strength aura, because he's armor 18 against Hal's strength.
Yeah. Blightbringer aura paying off already. Doesn't help me on fire though.
No, that's true, because it stops right before the fire. But yeah, so the Judicator's not battled at the moment, so it's not doing its decent POW strength 9, or
it's
strength 9. So PPS that's 9 blast damage.
Box starts for a point, so pretty easy to go through.
No Biox cards there, that's for sure. And then
spoilers, more are coming.
Here's the next one. I tried to see if I could get lucky and just scatter a little bit on the.
Oh yeah, it's a 50% chance, or no, never mind. It's a 1 in 3 chance of actually drifting on.
1 in 3 chance of drifting on her. And I thought if I could take out a Death Strider first turn, that would be great.
That would make me sad, that's for sure.
I obviously.
So first drift goes way off into the middle of nowhere, and second drift doesn't go far enough to matter.
Yeah, doesn't really matter. That's okay. Right here, I go ahead and activate the book, move him up, and just cast no knockdown. Pray no knockdown. So.
I just realized you could have boosted.
Even though, I mean, I could have. Yes, I could have boosted on that first turn because of Reliquary.
Whatever. -11. Who cares?
I would have rather boosted on the Death Strider if I hit it. Now the Zealots are going in, and here's where I make a huge mistake. This was dumb. This was stupid.
My plan worked.
Yes, Ben's plan works. He moved those Deathstalkers up, and I saw him and was like, "Ooh, I really don't want to lose 4 Zealots first turn, so I'm gonna Greater Destiny." And waste my ability to lock down a whole side of the board for a turn of the game because I Greater Destiny first turn of the game, which is the first of several game-changing mistakes, I think, in this.
Not just on your side.
Which, I mean, yes, there's multiple mistakes, but I mean, this was kind of rough. Kind of a dumb decision here. But whatever.
I wouldn't say dumb. I mean, I'm projecting threat. You're trying to threat assess. You don't make necessarily the right choice at this point, but it guarantees those bombs can come in.
It's true.
the
Yeah,
following
c'est la vie.
turns.
It happens.
So,
So
yeah.
Nicaea just walks forward. I like Nicaea in lists because she is a very scary model, but I generally never tend to use her right. The Paladin goes forward, Stone and Mortars, just to make sure he doesn't get offed the first turn, because that would be unfortunate.
By the way, I want to point out I like the way that you use Nicaea in that she's not a piece to really vanguard your forces with, to be up front and center. When you can hold her back and try to use her for a late piece, the longer the game goes on, the more threatening she can actually become.
It's true. Though sometimes I found, actually the last game I played with this list, it's the exact same list as this, and Nicaea didn't do a single thing in the entire game. She dirtled around on a hill for 3 turns. So,
Looks like she found her hill again.
That's true. So yeah, support pieces just move up. They cast Passage. Then I pass Clock.
Alright, so my turn. I forget there's fire on the table. We will resolve that shortly. And lucky me, it doesn't go out. So, Blightbringer Aura does not affect me. Affect him right there, so he is dice -4.
I think I rolled like A damage or something like that. Nothing super important.
Yep. So, anyways, plans for this turn. The Zealots are Greater Destiny, so I'm not going to be able to plink them off easily. However, probably my favorite target in Menoth for Strider Deathstalkers are Choir.
Ugh.
So, right off the bat, I'm looking to see if there is any way for me to get to them. Other than that, my initial thoughts are, okay, I can't shoot Fiora, I can't shoot the Judicator because they're both immune to fire. I'm going to want to try to get rid of as many Bastions as I can. And other than that, I'm just going to want to try to get upfield to not get jammed out of scenario. Because, again, this list just feels so slow to me. I am full of speed 5s, and I've got a speed 4. So, first thing I realized, there is a beat I can get on a choir member. I check line of sight to one of them. I look at this point, think it's a bit too far out of way, so I target one that's closer to me that, well, conveniently you guys can't see.
The Judicator's such a big model. It's gross.
It is. But I think it's pretty, if you like motorcycles and everything.
If you like boxes.
Anyways, kill the first choir. Happy I shot him first because the other choir I was looking at after the 2-inch advance is now going to be in range.
Probably some bad positioning on the choir on my part. Just kind of left him out in the open and forgot that you had.
I don't know why I've shot so many of your choir.
Which you have. I always forget how much movement Death Rider Stalkers have. Like,
yeah.
Speed 7 with, what is it, like a ranged...
Range 12.
Range 12. I mean, that's
Range 12, POW 10,
impressive.
which doesn't care when they
Well,
can
no, you
just
have
do an
sniper,
automatic
so
one.
I mean, plink, plink. There you go.
Yeah.
So
So put that one in the zone at the end of her turn just to make sure she stays in the zone. And this one I realize I can be a bit more annoying with. There's more choir for me to shoot. Since so many other things are multi-wound, I just didn't figure it was bother shooting. So right here, I'm debating whether to shoot another choir member or a Hierophant. Because, excuse me, it's my Snapfire shot. So it's basically a free attack if I get it. Realize it's an 8 for me to actually kill the Hierophant.
Yeah, 'cause it's 5 boxes, death 13 on 13.
Yeah, so I figure it's not worth it. Might as well just pick off the choir. It guarantees at least one Jack is not going to benefit from their songs in turn, and every time that happens, Menoth Jacks are nowhere near as great without that.
It's true.
So go for the choir member, kill it.
This is a measure for the Reclaimer right here. That 9-inch, which he ended up being in range, which was... It's nice because I get 3 souls right off the bat, but yeah.
Yep. And conveniently right here, I realized, oh hey, I can Swift Hunter my Strider Deathstalker into melee. They aren't near as good in melee, but you know what? At defense 15, they can hold stuff back.
That's a true statement.
So, I figured out the easy things to do for my turn. Everything else, not quite sure yet. Oh, excuse me. So, measuring my control area, I'm trying to measure the Ravagor's range, trying to see if he has a shot on Nicaea. What? Oh, that was a command check.
Yeah, command check on the choir. Thankfully, I took a max choir. That was actually really important, because if it had been a min choir, he would have just wiped my entire choir off the board.
That was 4. Alright, so right here, activate the Ravagor, aim. Turns out I was a little short. I still use the Ravagor's Animus, just in case.
Because it def, like, 16 arm 11, you're doing a +1 point of damage on Nicaea.
Well, let's see. Arm 11. Well, if I hit, she dies. But
well, that's true. Yeah.
If I use the Animus first, whether I hit or miss, stuff gets lit on fire. If I don't manage to kill you, you're lit on fire.
Roll, but you do manage to kill me rolling Bioxcars plus more on your...
Hey, Bioxcars is only on 2 dice.
Whatever. There's still 2 6s in there. Still counts.
Yeah, but mine are Maple Leafs.
Alright.
Go Team Canada. Anyways. So, managed to kill Nicaea. I'm pretty happy with myself there. And then I realized, well, hey, my Ravagor's pretty far back. I'm going to have to try to get some scenario present somehow. And with a Speed 4 Blightbringer and Speed 5 War Spears, not exactly the easiest thing to do. So, with this unit, I issue another Assault Order, merely to take advantage of Relentless Charge. That particular War Spear was still in a bit of rough terrain. He assaults Adjudicator. He's so far out of range, we don't even bother trying to measure it afterwards. That guy runs because he doesn't have a lane. Everybody else runs. I'm just trying to threat project and get at least some models in the zone. I'm also trying to figure out where my Blightbringer is going to end up being to, again, get the max benefit from its Draconic Aura, the +2 strength and armor for warrior models. So, clustering up a bit, but thankfully this is a very central scenario and I can afford to do so.
Yeah. 8 boxes, arm 18, yeah, you can afford to do so.
Yeah. Also, hey guys, beer is good. Drink up.
That's a true statement.
If anybody cares to know, what I have in my glass is the left-hand Milk Stout Nitro. It's one of my favorite beers in general. You pour it hard into a glass, Nitro beers they have a much smoother taste to them, and I like them in general. Alright, so this War Spear unit, again, I'm just trying to get a bit more in the zone, a bit more to try to figure out how to get them out of Thagrosh's way and still close enough to the Blightbringer for where he's going to end up being. So I activate Thagrosh, I put Draconic Fire on the Blightbringer for free, because that's an ability Thagrosh has. I spend to put Tenacity up. Because of the Judicator's threat range and Fiora's own personal threat range, I know there is a large swath of table that can potentially kill me. So I try to keep as high a camp as I can for as long as I can. So I advance the Blightbringer up. He's on the hill. It is a beautiful and wonderful thing against models that are not immune to fire. So while Fiora can't hide, I can't shoot her. Anyways, here I go to try to use my plan of kill as many Bastions as possible. Since I have Draconic Fire on the Blightbringer, if I target the center one, all 3 of them are going to light on fire, which ends up happening. While the AoE stays in play, I don't bother putting it out because the Blightbringer has done its Draconic Aura, the Strength Armor Aura, so it's not going to matter for anything. So, measure blast damage. I do technically hit Fiora, but thankfully she's
immune to fire. It can't be lit on fire.
So the attack does nothing. So 3 models I can damage under the AoE. I just immediately put 3 extra Fury on the Blightbringer to boost damage. So the first damage roll I go for is blast damage. Dice -8 on this guy.
You roll really high on this, if I remember right.
Yes, I do. There we go. 6 by 4.
Yeah.
So crank the damage there.
There's 7 points of damage, I think.
Crack the damage there.
Yeah, did nothing to that model. And then on the unit leader there, you do
last guy.
7 points of damage, which I spread out. I think I did 4 to the unit leader and 3 to the other one that hadn't taken any damage.
Yeah. So I don't know. Spreading the damage on that one, not a bad thing to do. I mean, you have fire. You're gonna be what? They're also arm 16, right?
They are arm 16, so I mean it's dice -4 on the fire. So I mean that's
spreading it out from the one guy, it puts them from one box to enough to potentially survive fire.
It's true. It's true.
So I wouldn't call that a bad plan at all.
Nah.
Anyway, Shepard walks up, whips Fury off the Blightbringer, and Shredder Tenacity's the Blightbringer. I love that piece. That passed my turn.
Cool. So start of my turn, kind of upkeeping Ignite, upkeeping Escort. 2 things that I think are good to upkeep. I need to do some fire rolls here. I think I was checking to see if Fiora's Caustic Fire was both, but it wasn't. I get really lucky here and roll a 1 and a 2 for the fires, but the dude who's got 7 points of damage just burns and dies. Which is not what Menoth is used to doing. We're usually doing the burning and dying. But yeah, anyways, so I go ahead and don't allocate anything because I've got 3 souls on my Reclaimer, which I'm just going to use to load up the Adjudicator there. So upkeep 2 spells, measuring control here, kind of seeing what I can do with the Bastions. They're pretty damaged right now, and I'd rather them at least get in and try to do some work with that Ignite before they just get like blown out of the water by a Ravagore shot or a Blightbringer shot. So yeah, trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. Kind of thinking.
So what are you expecting me to do on my next turn?
So
what are you trying to eliminate this turn?
I know that with Prey, your War Spears are going to be able to get to my Adjudicator. It's just going to happen. So I'm going to try and get rid of as many of those as I can to kind of minimize the damage my Adjudicator is about to take, because that's really the main damage dealer in this army is the Adjudicator.
Yeah, hence why he's prayed.
Yeah, hence why he's prayed. So I moved the Paladin right there to try and hit the Deathstalker. Mat 8, Def 15, hoping I could roll a 7. I don't. I roll like a 5 or something. Miss. So whatever. It happens. Yay. So right here, I go ahead and activate the Zealots. Moving the Zealots. They're 6. I mean, it's nice. They're a speed 6 with a range 5. POW 12, POW 14 under Fervor.
Yeah. So since they're speed 6 and he's moving a max, I just offer him a hard 6-inch template.
Yeah, little widget there. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I am American. I don't endorse the Canadians in the least bit. But
well, shame for you.
It happens.
But it's one thing I do like my hard measure templates. They just give that much increase of accuracy in this game, and in times like this can make movements so much easier, especially when you have a huge base to try to measure around.
And when you're on a clock too, it's a lot easier to use a hard measure on a clock than it is to try and like move your tape measure and whatnot. And that's that clock. But anyways, measuring control or command there, making sure everybody's in command, which they are. They fervored. We're gonna go ahead and start throwing some stuff. I throw at that War Spear right there. They're Def 12s. I needed 6s to hit. I rolled Bioxcars. I wish I would have done that for damage. But I don't.
I don't.
But I do set you on fire, but you're already on fire, so it doesn't matter.
Double fire! That's a thing, right?
I wish that was a thing.
So we check. I believe I was outside of the Blightbringer aura at that point.
But it didn't matter, because I rolled crud. So I hit with the next one. Definitely. That's dice -2. I think you were in, so because I only did 2 damage, so you dropped down to like you had 4.
Oh no, your dice -4. You rolled 6. I did 2. I think it was at 4 before from fire or something. Anyways, he's at 2 boxes right now. He's not feeling so good.
That was a scatter right there. I was barely out of range, so I mean it hit him, but wasn't doing a whole lot. Which then I rolled really great on the blast damage and managed to take him off.
You know, as long as you keep cutting his damage in half, rounding up, I'm okay with this. Because that's what all your damage rolls have been to him for par.
And right here, I think I threw at the Death Strider, which I miss, Rolling a 9, I miss. Which, I mean, it scatters not enough, because I was like an inch and a half away.
You're too close for me to... Yeah.
So I scattered off of it. It's a power strength 9 against armor 11. I needed something. And that wasn't enough to kill him, but...
Nah, I think you put her at 3 at that point. But yeah, you were close enough. The blast couldn't hop off, so...
Yeah, and then I rolled a damage against my own objective, which I rolled... Well, I didn't do anything. Yeah. That was another scatter that I don't think.
Yeah, you missed. You go straight back towards yourself. This is the one that clips your objective.
Yeah, there we go. It's the one that clips the objective. I know I didn't do anything to it.
Yeah. However, I think you clip your own guy in this one as well.
I may have. You may be right. Get some impromptu measuring here.
Yeah.
But definitely caught my own guy. I probably kill him. But I roll on the Death Stalker. That's what's important. Roll enough to take it off the field.
She dies.
That's nice.
Yeah, she did her job.
That she did. She killed choir members, which is rude.
She killed choir members and was annoying afterwards. That's all I can hope for.
And then I roll 9 on my own guy, and he just disappears. No, that's what zealots are for, though, right? Run up with bombs, throw them, and then die. Whatever.
Yep.
I ain't too concerned.
You should keep count of how many zealots you kill and how many I kill. I think I end up killing more.
You do.
I'm pretty sure I do.
You do. Anyway, so here I'm measuring control, just kind of trying to judge distances on the bastions, because they are only speed 4. So charging 7 with a reach of 2, so I have a 9-inch threat range. So I mean,
yep.
I mean, I'm here like trying to guess, can I get him into combat? And
if I've done my stuff right, hopefully not.
But I think it ends up both of them can get a charge on the same guy, if I remember right.
Yeah.
They both get a charge on that front.
They do.
War Spear, which under Ignite, they're not bad. They're Mat 7s, they're POW 14 Blessed Weapon Masters, rolling 4 dice on a charge, which is gross. But I think I may whiff my roll here in a second.
Thankfully, at least War Spears have set defense.
That's true. Set defense is super nice, because that gives you what, Def 14?
Gives me it's Def 14 against a charge. It's plus 2.
So I need 7s to hit. So first charge,
I will
hits
take
with
7s over 5s any day.
Which I do light them on fire because of Ignite. It gives crit fire, which is super nice.
Yep.
But here we go. Here's my charge. Roll. Cooking the dice. That's the way to do it. And I roll kind of not good. It's dice minus 4, so I don't kill him. That's for sure. And then miss the second one with a 6. So they're done. I mean, they're a min unit. There's not much you can do with 2 bastions. They only have 1 attack each. They're more there just to be in the way.
Yeah, and even though they have blessed, thankfully the
auras. They don't ignore the auras.
They do not ignore the auras. Also, it's worth noting that at this point the bastions are close enough to be within 9 inches of Thagrosh, so they're minus 2 strength as well.
That's true.
It makes my War Spears effectively armor 20 versus melee.
It is true. So
it's a wonderful thing for my side.
I'll tell you that minus 2 strength in Thags.
Which doesn't matter for fire rolls.
Which doesn't matter for fire rolls, but it's hard, man. That's a rough time there.
Yep.
So here we go. Moving the Judicator full.
6.
Yeah, Judy moves 6, which is super nice.
Fast Judicator.
Yeah, I toe into the zone just to be obnoxious, because at a crap ton of boxes, it's fun to put that in the zone. And I've communed with the Reclaimer, so he's got a full load. So here we go, just flamethrowing some stuff, because I might as well. He's got a Spray 8 POW 16 under battle, if I remember right.
I think it's 14 base. That sounds right.
I mean, it's. I don't know why it's not a Spray 10. Privateer Press.
I don't know why
this,
either. But
explain to me why
thankful.
No, so it's only a POW 12, so it's a POW 14.
Oh, okay.
Same as the printer. But I don't understand why it's not a Spray 10. Privateer Press.
I thought it was. So.
But anyways, I hit that guy.
Made me happy.
Light him on fire. Did some damage. Didn't boost anything. Didn't think it was worth it. I'd rather boost with my.
My objective's far enough away. I'm happy.
Yeah. So I rolled. Not bad. Doing dice minus 4, so I did 4 damage to him. That's enough. Go ahead and spray on the other side, hitting that front Ogren.
Don't cut him in half again.
Which I'm pretty sure I hit him because I'm at 7 on the flamethrower. which isn't terrible at all, and roll enough to kill him. He had like 1 box left.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
So.
Oh, seriously, your damage rolls cut him in half. You went from 8 to 4, then 4 to 2, then 2 to 1, and then he died.
Then killed him. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Now, here comes some rocket blasts, which are, I mean, really, that's the Judicator's bread and butter, is the rocket blast, especially bonded to Efior because they cause fire, and they bounce around and light more people on fire. I've had games where I've obliterated people's front lines in a turn of shooting.
Yeah, you say they're his bread and butter, but I still wonder about that because of the inaccurate rule and how hard it is to hit. I'm sure he gets 2 blasts, but you're so dicey on those.
Which, I mean, I guess, yes, that's true. You are dicey, but I mean, there are ways to mitigate that. You know, battle makes him a rat 3 instead of a rat 1, which, I mean,
true.
Any addition to rat is nice. And you can boost on it.
I mean, aiming rat 5.
Yeah, aiming rat 5, which is really nice. So I mean, it scatters. The other thing is I had some pretty nice scatters here, too.
True.
I mean, only scattering a little bit. I still set you on fire. I was still able to do pound 9 blast damage. So I mean, I'm still dealing damage and still putting fire out there, which is really what you want to do.
True.
So.
Also, because I know fire doesn't go out, is part of why I played this list against you.
Definitely the cost of fire.
Because I have enough armor in this list to be able to tank it.
It's true.
The other list I pair with this one right now is Lilith 2, and it's got double Crow Craters, and you have somebody on your side that's immune to fire. I ain't touching that with Lilith 2.
That's true. That's true. Of course, this is my only out of my pairing. I pair this with a High Reclaimer list, and obviously High Reclaimer is not the caster to drop into Legion, because High Reclaimer's whole game is hiding behind a bunch of clouds, and Eyeless Sight makes High Reclaimer a very sad panda. So
I like that match.
Well, you may like that match, but I don't like that match.
Kind of like you would probably like the Lilith 2 match in this one.
Oh, I would love the Lilith 2 match with Fiora. That would be so great. You can't shoot me,
but I can't shoot you dead.
Right.
I have Lilith.
I don't care about Lilith. I'll hide behind my Judicator.
Shut up.
So here, rolling some damage. I think I rolled damage against the Blightbringer. Didn't really do anything. I boost damage on the War Spear here.
Yeah, so
wanting to do a decent amount, and I don't.
Whiff.
Yeah, you know, it happens. That's dice rolls. I mean, what are you gonna do? Dice are fickle.
Yep.
So this is that was just the left side. So now I'm shooting out of the right side. Obviously, I'm taking way too much time on the clock here. Clock management skills not doing a great job.
So just double checking to make sure whether you're in range or out of range for the drift. Or sorry, that was to see how far the drift could go if you missed, because you're inaccurate.
It's true, because I'm inaccurate. So it's a good guess that I'm gonna miss, which I do, and then I scatter again, kind of weird. I do 5 inches to the 6.
It again goes further away
and just
hits
blows up where his army used to be. Vassal moves up here, and I think the Vassal's gonna go ahead and ancillary attack, and I crank another rocket shot into some
War Spears, I think.
Some War Spears. Either that or it's Thags. I might be shooting at Thags right now. I can't remember.
I do have Fog of War up this turn.
You do, and that was helping you out. That doesn't scatter too far.
No, but it's enough to hop off of the initial target.
Yeah.
Exactly where it went to the previous
time. I rolled
time.
Boxcars on my my scatter there, which is useless to say the least.
Not for damage.
You know, I rolled several boxcars this game. None of them were for damage.
Nope. Oh, hey! And then we saw a few ones there.
Yeah, really. Yuck.
Hey, averages, they end up happening.
Right. Yeah, and then just kind of resolving damages here. Not much to talk about.
No. I don't know. That is one thing that I think is rough about your list in particular is AoEs soak up so much time on your clock.
They do. So here we go, the Repenter's walking up. Bad thing is the Repenter's not battled, which kind of really stinks.
Hooray!
Because a Rat 7 POW 14 spray is beautiful, but obviously not today. I rolled a 7.
Death Stalker did her job.
I rolled a 7, which I think I rolled 11 to I don't think that was damage. I'm pretty sure that was to hit. But
that was damage.
Was
that
it?
was your
Okay.
damage roll.
Yeah, that's not a bad damage roll. Then, ladies and gents, I'm gonna offer you some advice that I learned from a very wise man on a video one time, and it's just roll better. Rule number 1 to Warmachine: roll better. Rule number 2 to Warmachine: never remember any of your rules because it's Warmachine.
Rule number 1 should be read your card.
I like roll better more.
True.
Because rolling better always wins the game. Well, that's not actually true.
Not always, but it certainly helps.
Here we go. The Reclaimer's just going to hide behind the wall because the Reclaimer doesn't have to get out of kill box. Only Fiora has to get out of kill box. So Fiora activates, just moves over, hides behind the Judicator, gets up close for the escort bonus. Camps her 4. Yeah, camps the 4 there because I know those Ogrins are very close. So. And then I think I'm rolling with the other Repenter here just to see if I can off that Death Strider, which I don't because Matt's 6. And then I pass turn.
Other Strider Death Stalker doing her job. So I'm rolling on fires, hoping that everything is out of Fiora's.
Which it ends up not being. That's not out. And then that. I think we end up having to move the Judicator here.
So we aren't sure. I did roll a number, or I did roll a 2 on this one, so it actually does matter quite a lot if
it does.
He's in Fiora's control.
And he ends up being in Fiora's control, so which is super great. I love that rule. It's
a good rule. It's a really
Caustic
good
Fire is fantastic. Any Menoth players out there, if you don't have Fiora 2, go online,
get her,
buy Fiora 2, put her together, paint her, treat
really
her very nice,
Legion.
Treat her like your wife.
Yeah, because look at that. Hey, fire killed.
Bam! Killed that sucker.
So, since field promotion means that model can no longer make attacks, I go and promote the one model in that unit that's not going to make any attacks anyways. So, pro tip, remember that. You cannot make free strikes, you cannot make any attacks of any kind on the turn that a model gets field promoted. So, plans here, kill the Bastions. Step 2, kill the Bastions. Step 3, get as much damage on Judy as possible. Step 4, kill the Bastions. Zealots, they're still hanging out kind of far back. I'm not overly worried about them right now. I'm not sure if I should be or not. But, of course, right here I'm trying to figure out when do I want to activate the Blightbringer. Because the Blightbringer turns on War Spears, but if the War Spears could do enough damage to other things, it could get the Blightbringer forward. I realized I had made a mistake in measuring other things earlier. At this turn, had I killed War Spears, I could have gotten my Blightbringer onto Judy. I think I'm thankful I didn't. Anyways, end up activating the Blightbringer first. I realize a 5-inch AoE is going to catch my own guys, so I don't want to light my own guys on fire, because that's not going to go out. So,
no, it won't.
I just go for the Strength Armor or shoot a Bastion in melee. Thankfully, we're both on the same hill, so you don't get that bonus. But the other reason is to get that 5-inch 5-blade up there, because if War Spear's in that, he's going to be in +2 Strength and Armor, as well as if he was within 5, so try to threaten the Judicator more. Anyways, roll enough to kill one Bastion and not the other. They aren't on fire, so now I've got to try to figure out how to kill that one Bastion so I can have that top unit of War Spears get at least one more attack on the Judicator. Oh, sorry for the cough, guys. I've had this thing for 3.5 weeks. I don't know why it's still sticking around.
You need like a Ricola or something.
I do. I have cough drops on the stairs. I'm going to get one when I get another beer.
Man, we should be called Beer Machine. Wait.
Wait.
Which, by the way, They're pretty good. You should go check them out.
They are good, and as of this point, there are still, I think, 15, maybe 14 days left in their Kickstarter.
Definitely.
One of their hosts got diagnosed with ALS. They're giving him about a year before functionality starts shutting down. So if you can, go help him out, guys.
Definitely. This is a great cause. We're wanting to get him to as many conventions as he can possibly get to. So definitely go check that out, Kickstarter. If you don't have a Kickstarter, you need to rethink your life and go get a Kickstarter.
All right. On top of that, you remember the Ice Bucket Challenges that came out, I don't remember how many years ago? Now's the time to help put your money where your mouth is. If you did the Bucket Challenge, there's somebody in our community who's suffering from ALS. There's no reason for you guys to not help support them.
Back to the game.
Anyways, I have no idea what I'm doing at this point.
We're rolling dice. We're killing things. He rolls boxcars for something.
I do.
It's pretty great.
I don't remember what for.
I think you're destroying.
Oh,
things.
hey,
Something disappeared.
That's right. I tried to use Thagrosh to spray my own War Spear in the back and hit yours.
That's right.
I end up missing yours.
You missed mine. You killed your own War Spear because you rolled boxcars on damage with
Thagrosh, I guess, got a bit angry at the one War Spear.
This kind of turns into the theme of the game as Thagrosh gets really mad at his own War Spears and just kind of...
War Spears get mad at their own War Spears.
That's true. Everybody gets mad at their own people, which is kind of awesome.
What?
You know.
Yeah. My War Spears did not like this game.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
So, first War Spear I moved takes an assault on the Judicator because I can. Second one charged the Bastions to try to clear it up for the other unit. And hey, look, the field promoted guy that can't attack runs. So, assault shot. Thank God you're low defense.
Yeah, Def 8. That's pretty rough. A Def 8 is. I mean, granted, he is a giant robot, but...
Yeah, but thankfully for this, that unit has Draconic Blessing on him. He's in the Blightbringer AoE, and the Judicator is his prey. Power 19.
Yeah, so rolling straight dice. Yeah, I mean, rolling straight dice on a Colossal is always a good time. If you're rolling the dice, is always a bad time if the dice are being rolled against you. Because it
Not
means
always. Snake Eyes happens.
Well, Snake Eyes happens, but still. I mean,
or future rolls.
That's true. That's true. So here we go. A little bit more damage there.
Yeah.
I think.
So
yeah, that was on the
charge
Bastion,
attack
and
for
I
the
was
Bastion.
just out of curiosity seeing how close the Reclaimer was. Definitely nowhere within 9 inches.
Yeah. So Thagrosh is already activated. It can't move Draconic Blessing, and well, one unit War Spears got screwed. So time to take the other one and put as much damage onto Judicator as I can. Is this another command check?
No.
This was... Oh, that's right. We forgot the fire on the one guy.
We forgot a fire on him because life.
So again, field promote to the one dude that's not going to make any attacks.
I think I rolled an 11 for my dice roll there.
It hurt.
Because you're only arm 16.
Arm 16 at that
so
point.
dice minus 4. I did 7 points of damage.
Yep.
He was already hurt. So, good times.
Oh yeah. So this unit also gets an assault order. Yeah, and I'm going to try to keep as many in that AoE as possible, just because great benefits, normally. Yeah, I've got one guy that can't make attacks, he'll just kind of trundle forward, but this guy, I figure, one more attack on the Judicator, as much damage as I can, I want to do. Also, I am creating a big buffer between the Judicator and my Blightbringer.
True, because a escorted charging Judicator can effectively threat 11 inches.
Yeah, you threat a walking 8.
It's true. It's pretty great.
And you have battle.
And I have battle, which makes him P plus S 22, which is rolling dice plus 3 on your Blightbringer there.
With no buffs on him.
Well, then, yes.
If he has tenacity and the Judicator is within 9 inches of Thags, it's actually only straight dice.
I like those odds.
I like those odds a lot more than plus 3, that is for sure. So right here, last War Spear, doesn't really have anything else to attack. He is not going to assault. He's charging the Paladin. If he misses the Paladin, I have a chance of hitting my Strider Deathstalker. I'm not taking that chance.
I really would have loved to see that play out. Charges in, assaults, throws the spear, misses the Paladin, and drills his own Deathstalker through the head. That'd have been great.
No. Anyways, first assault hits. I do a little bit of damage. Second assault shot. And why did I do that guy first? I roll Snake Eyes and miss Adjudicator, so I have to randomize between the other eligible targets, which are the other 2 War Spears, and conveniently I hit the Chieftain. And then I proceed to kill the Chieftain.
Puts a giant spear through his back.
Yeah, about that. That was unfortunate, because that not only took away an assault shot, but it also takes away a charge attack. So...
Bam! Bam! He's gone!
And even worse, granted Huntsman,
He's gone.
I also lose prey.
No more prey there, which is
so great. Thags got mad at a War Spear, and I guess that guy was trying to be like Thags and get rid of the wrong one.
Well, I mean, it is the Chieftain, so maybe he was like trying to become his own Chieftain.
Yeah.
Their model. You can't really guess what they're actually doing.
It was not good. Anyways, not assaulting, so charge attacks. Yeah, now that I can do those. Alright. So...
You don't roll terribly bad on these.
No, but it's -2 POW because I just lost prey.
Well, I mean, it's true. It's true. But I mean, you are also within your strength aura.
I am. And I still have a buffer between Judy and the Bringer.
It's true. And the fact that those are medium-based models kind of makes that a little bit hard. Because if they were small-based models, that's just a trample.
Yes, I would still accept that because that is minimum 3 less attacks.
It's true.
Because your 2 initials plus the fury you use to trample.
It's true. No, nice thing is...
Anyways, other charge attack, it didn't do anything, but at least I'm not killing my Strider Deathstalker. So see, I think I still have my Ravagore left, of which I have no idea what to do with at this point. Can't shoot Fiora, can't shoot the Judicator. I activate it, I realize it at about this point, it's like, oh right, immune to fire. So, yes, we have a clock, we are not hyper-competitive here, at this point in time at least. If you haven't noticed already. Nah, I'm sure if I do a tournament report or anything like that.
Sure, a tournament report or something where there's actually something at stake. This was more of just a friendly game, enjoying an evening of war machining.
So I'm going to take my Ravagore, try to go after one of my favorite targets when I don't have too many important attacks ever.
Choir.
Exactly.
Which is rude, to say the least.
I might as well try.
And thankfully the scatter there, the white was the direction, and so the scatter was the wrong direction, so you don't hit anybody, Choir survives, thank goodness.
Yeah. And I couldn't quite get the Ravagore in the zone, which I'm hoping is not going to be a problem. With the War Spear and Deathstalker, I do have at least the Paladin and the Batjack there gummed up. I've got Judy gummed up. I'm still just hoping it can't kill everything in the zone.
It's true. So this turn, I'm thinking Thags is close enough. Maybe I can put some damage on Thags early, cause some fire on him. I guess we're not really early anymore. We're bottom of 2, but
3.
Is this 3 already?
This is 3.
Oh my.
Yeah, you've already shot with Adjudicator twice.
But, I'm sitting here thinking, maybe I can do some damage, start clearing out some more spears.
If you had 35 minutes at the bottom of 2, I'd be wondering what just happened.
Well, my clock management skills are suspect, to say the least.
But, we're pretty close.
But here we go, moving up the Choir. I'm going ahead and battling with the Choir. I was really hoping to get that Repenter over there in that 3 inches, but I wasn't, so say la vie, whatever. It is what it is. Go ahead and move the Reclaimer over. He has 1 soul left on him, which I go ahead and throw onto the Adjudicator to give him a full load. Next up, the Zealots go. And this is where I make a huge mistake.
Actually, this is where I'm going to mimic what I did in there. I'm getting another beer.
Anyways, I make a huge mistake here. I forget to activate the Covenant first. And the problem with that is I wanted to give them the Flames of Wrath, which any ranged or melee attack that hits, you cause fire. But I activated the Zealots first, which is a massive problem. Obviously, right here, I'm not actually doing anything because he went and grabbed a beer. But here we go. So I'm looking at my measurements, and I move the first model just about. I'm like, move him a little bit. Move the first model here, and
beer is good.
And I realize that the Covenant of the Covenant has not moved yet.
Thank God.
Has not activated. My order of activations really needed to be different here, and I think that might be. I mean, it's not game changing, but it's definitely big. It's definitely big because getting fire on the opposing caster is always a good idea. It's never a solid idea because fire can go out and it can't. It's only POW 12 and it's not
unless you're Fiora too. It doesn't go out.
Well, unless you're Fiora too, but then I have to get within 12, and that's kind of within threat range of a lot of things.
True.
But you know, I mean, it's pro tip: don't rely on fire. But it is a lot of fun.
This is true.
But anyways, here I'm just moving around, kind of trying to see if I can get as many throw lanes as I can. I'm kind of jammed in between a war spear there that I really don't want to get into melee with, and the forest, which I can't walk through because, well, I mean, I can walk through, but I don't have Pathfinder. So, moving up here, go ahead and throw some bombs. Really wasting a lot of clock time. I took way too much time with those zealots. But
it's
here
AoEs in general.
It's AoEs. I'm throwing it Thags right here. He's kind of hiding on the other side of that Blightbringer. He had like 5 transfers or something ridiculous.
Yep, I had 5.
Which I rolled boxcars to hit again.
Woo!
Boxcars. Never on the damage. My damage here.
And Thags is on fire!
Thags is on fire, which is super nice, so I guess it didn't really matter that I didn't use the Covenant, but such is life.
Actually kind of worked out to your favor.
It really did, because then I was able to walk up later. You'll see later.
Yep.
But I go ahead and roll the damage here and roll really crappy roll.
Not really.
I mean,
it was a direct hit, so it's not
dice
bad,
minus.
I took 3 points on that one, so dice minus 3.
Dice minus 3. I mean, it wasn't great.
Blightbringer Aura. Blightbringer and Thagrosh feed off each other so well.
It's true. It's true. They're a very good pairing there. Roll to hit. I miss. We're going to see how much I can scatter. And, I mean, this really takes up a lot of time. This is a great list, without a doubt. I really enjoy it. But it takes a lot of time because, you know, seeing how much you scatter and rolling the AoEs and whatnot, it takes a lot of time off of the clock, which is really difficult.
So in that case, would that make you reconsider the Zealots, or
reconsidering,
or just play better?
Probably play better. I mean, I have probably an irrational love of Zealots. It's a true statement. I love Zealots just for their versatility. They can lock down a board. They're great control pieces because of that ability. But at the same time, POW 14 bombs are incredible.
Yeah.
The amount of times that POW 14 bombs have been the difference between me killing the enemy caster and me not killing the enemy caster. I mean, one time I remember I offed Axis with Zealots under P7, which was great.
Oh, I have Menoth. Oh.
So I have this irrational love affair with the Zealots. So I don't think I'd take them out of the list. I mean, maybe I would swap them out for TFG, but I mean that's super standard Fiora because Temple Flame Guard. And they're great control pieces. Well? I mean, it does work well, definitely. Pro tip: TFG work really well with Fiora, P Fiora or E Fiora.
Yep.
But I really like Zealots, so I think I'd probably keep them in there.
Well, Zealots managed to kill out the Warspear Chieftain of the other unit.
Yeah, so great. I offed the UA there, which is awesome.
So now I don't have prey at all anymore.
Which is fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, right there, the positioning probably not too great. I kind of bottlenecked him a little bit because I didn't get the max amount of shots out of him.
You bottled them and you clumped them up.
I did. That was kind of a dumb idea right there. I clump him up, give the. I knew I was giving kind of a juicy target, and that is never a good idea. Ravagors love clumped models.
And Blightbringers.
Pro tip number 500,000. Don't clump when there's a
AoEs.
Yeah. So here the Repenter is moving up, and he's not moving too far, but he's got a spray 8, so it's not too terrible. He goes ahead and sprays Thags just because I think I actually allocated him 2.
Yeah.
So I boost to hit here, and
pretty sure you hit him.
I hit him because that's a 10, and he's.
Yep.
I think you're Def 15, and I'm a Rat 5, so I hit you right on the nose.
Oh yeah.
And so I boost the damage, so it's it hits continuous fire on the Repenter.
Oh right.
But then I do not very good damage. I roll 8 for damage on a power 12, and you're like armed.
19 at that point.
So I do 1 point.
Yep.
Nothing substantial.
So. Oh,
here we go. Then I move up the Covenant, and the Covenant actually right here uses anti-magic, his like 10-inch bubble of anti-magic, which was actually really helpful because it forced.
It forces me to think about kill box and how close I can get to it.
Yeah, that's something that's really fun to do with the Covenant of Menoth. If you're playing a kill box scenario and you can get it right, you run forward, you anti-magic, and then the opposing caster has to try and figure out a way to get outside of that 10-inch bubble. And a lot of times that'll force them into the kill box, which will give you points. It's a lot of fun to do. It's a pain in the butt for the opposing player to deal with. So,
was it Ancient Shroud? That's the rule that.
An Ancient Shroud. So it takes 5 hits minimum to kill.
Not true, actually. So Eris 1 and Ghost Snipers and Retribution have an ability called Deathbolt, which says the opposing model takes 3 points of damage. It actually overrides.
I suppose that's true. That's true. So
that's the only one. Though.
That's the only one.
So unless you have Eris 1 or you're playing Retribution,
it's going to take you 5 hits to kill the Covenant, which is really nice because a lot of times that's if you want to devote a beast to killing Covenant,
it's 5 attacks that you aren't allocating elsewhere.
It's entirely true. You want to completely load up your beast to kill my my 2-point solo there? Go ahead.
Nope.
Because that means it's 5 attacks that aren't going somewhere else.
Exactly. That's 5 attacks that aren't going to be an Adjudicator or a Different Jack or other infantry that actually threaten my Warcaster or Warlock.
Here we go. This is the Adjudicators lining up on Thags, getting ready to just drop some rockets on his head.
And this is why I camp.
And this is why he camped. So I had a full load here. I boosted to hit, and I definitely hit. I rolled a 14 to hit him with a rat of 3. So I hit.
Oh, that's right.
Actually, that missed apparently.
Do I have Fog of War up?
You didn't have Fog of War up, but your Def
15.
Your Def 15. And I must have missed.
I don't know.
I thought I hit. The math worked out.
I don't know if we forgot battle or something.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Probably the clock.
I don't know.
Whatever. Anyway, so we scattered. I'm sitting here getting ready to roll some damage.
Oh no, it was a secondary scatter. That's what.
Oh, that's the secondary scatter. That's right.
Yeah, it was.
So I did drill Thags on the head. Secondary scatter. So here we go, getting ready to
so many AoEs.
So I roll some dice, do decent.
Yeah, secondary, not high enough to really cause much damage.
No, not really.
It was on a War Spear, dice -9, and on Thags,
which I rolled straight dice on that because I was doing it's a POW plus strength 16 under battle, and it was like dice -3.
Yep.
So I was willing to just not boost that because I was like, even if I roll good, he's just going to transfer off to another beast.
Which I do.
Which he does. I think he transfers to the
Ravagor.
So I mean, I was like, I'll save my focus for something else. I boost a shot into something.
I think it was a second attempt at Bagrosh. Yeah, it was a second attempt at Bagrosh.
Yeah, because I lined up on Thags. That's right. So I boosted at Thagrosh, and I missed way behind it. Like, I scattered off of him. And it scatters around a little bit. Doesn't do enough to actually hurt anybody.
Yep.
Then I'm going to go ahead and spray some more. because sprays are fun.
And for some reason, Judy is spray 8. Thank you, Privateer Press.
Why Privateer Press? Why?
Thank you.
I mean, I'm sure it would have been considered OP as crud if he was spray 10.
Yeah,
but,
considering the Hydra has to combine all 5 of its heads to get a single spray 10.
Yeah, well,
I guess
because the Hydra is an actual living thing. I'm a robot, so, you know. But yeah,
but you don't have 5 spray 6s.
No, I don't. I only have 2 spray 8s. But
and
I spray
4 AOEs.
And 4 AOEs. But I spray hitting both of those, and you know, I figured if I can clear these guys out, that won't be too bad. Which I missed the first. No, I hit the first because I'm a Rat 7. So I hit both of them. I'm doing decent damage. Just the power strength 14 and their armor 18.
Because hooray, Blightbringer.
So rolling on him, I don't roll too bad, but he's on fire, so that's what really matters.
Yep.
Rolling on the second one. Yeah, this is the thing. AoEs and sprays, they take so long. It's terrible. I rolled 10 here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I rolled 6 damage on him, which is fantastic, because I don't think he was hurt at all.
Not at that point, no.
Dealing a decent chunk of damage to him. I went ahead and sprayed the other way right there, just hoping to put some more fire out, hurt some more.
Yep.
If I can get rid of those war spears, that really helps me, because then that's a good majority of your army gone. Because with the Gargantuan in there, you just don't have a lot of models.
No. Well, the Gargantuan, and I'm paying for multi-wound models, so...
It's true. So, I rolled a pretty good damage on that first guy. Obviously, he just disappears under a 4-5-5, I think, was the dice roll there.
Yeah.
Plenty of good times. Here, I went ahead and, I moved the Vassal up. Ancillary attack. And I think I crank a shot, at the Ravagore or something.
Yep.
Because I knew I didn't really stand a chance of hitting Thags, so I'm thinking maybe if I can roll an 8 here, I can maybe raw dog an 8 and land on it, but I don't. I miss, so more clock wasting with scatter.
First drift.
It's only an inch, so it hits him, and then secondary blast. I think I end up catching the objective.
You do catch the objective on this one.
Which, yeah, I scattered back.
To crank that roll.
Yeah, I did a great job on the objective.
So, Ravagore gets double tapped off AoEs again. Oh, no, you don't crank damage on blast. It was later that happened, I think. Because, you're -9 on blast.
Yeah, something like that. So, I mean, I'm not doing a whole lot. It might have been on the fire or something like that I cranked damage.
Something like that.
But, yeah, so that goes. That chews up a bunch of time. Another tip, if you're going to play Judicator in a clocked scenario, play with him before and just get used to how he works.
If you're playing with a bunch of AoEs in general.
Just get used to how he works and get used to just memorize his stats, memorize what he does.
Not just that, but one thing, if you guys have been paying attention, there are a lot of blast templates that we haven't laid down AoEs for, because we know what the directions are, we know what the distances are. If the AoE doesn't stay in play, if you can figure that out without dropping the template and both you and your opponent understand how that works, it helps save a lot of time on your clock right there.
It's true. So right there, the Repenter hit the Deathstalker.
Finally.
And just wiped him off the board. He was dice +2, I think. Yeah. And here the Paladin hits the War Spear, and it's a Weapons Master, Power Strength 14.
Yeah.
And he's only he was only armor 16 because he's out of that wonderful bubble of the Blightbringer. So Paladin kind of puts him down.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, they've done their job.
They had. My Paladin and my Repenter
over there for 2 rounds.
I was sitting there doing nothing. Fiora
scoots up, stays
safe, and I pass clock with 20 minutes.
Yep.
Here we're checking fire, seeing what's up.
Yep. But still, at this point, I'm looking at the clock going, okay, I'm 12 minutes up. I could potentially survive this and clock out my opponent. Oh, man, speaking about eating up clock, fire damage rolls, boy.
Yeah. That's the other thing, is fire damage rolls are tough.
Yeah.
They take a lot of clock. This is a good list, but it takes a lot of practice to be fast with.
It does. But Practice is definitely worth it, though. I think this is where you crank the damage roll, and yeah, it's still pretty good.
I mean, it's not bad. That was on. That was on the Ravagore. I think this is probably this is on the Blightbringer, I think, and I don't do anything to it. And then I roll 8
Boxcars
on damage on the objective, which is super nice because all of a sudden I'm sitting here like, wow, I can possibly get rid of that objective next turn. I'm looking at it like, there's a possibility it may happen because I just did, what was that, 6 points of damage.
Yep.
It drops down to 9 boxes.
Makes it a lot easier.
Makes it a lot easier. And a charging Paladin, power strength 14, doing dice -4.
Yeah.
Those aren't bad odds at all. Those aren't bad odds at all.
You are indeed correct. Joys of Legion. I get to pick a model and try to kill it. So, I'm going, okay, Judicator's a little banged up. I have lost a lot of my War Spears. With killing my own Chieftain the previous turn, I'm trying hard to not go on tilt and just get angry at my own list anyways. So, I'm just trying to figure out, okay, can I kill the Judicator this turn? Can I get War Spears in there to deal a bit more damage? Can the Blightbringer do it? So, I take one War Spear in there, largely to tie up your Light Jack.
Yeah, tying up your is important.
Yeah, I attack a model. I don't think it was that important. I didn't really care. Stuff was in melee. That's all I cared about. Take away the guns, take away the AoEs, keep Thags a bit safer for a turn longer. So, measuring my control area, again, trying to gauge the Blightbringer. A softened up Colossal, with Draconic Blessing, the Blightbringer can usually do it. However, the other problem is you have the Covenant of Menoth up there saying I can't cast Draconic Blessing now.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Excuse me. So, at this point, I'm trying to figure out, okay, am I close enough I can get outside of Killbox and still manage to cast Draconic Blessing on the Blightbringer? Anyways, more attacks on Judy. Because I can. Because War Spears need to do something.
Because War Spears need to do something. Granted, they don't have Prey now, so they're not doing quite as much.
No, and no Blightbringer aura at this point, so they're kind of weak, but charges can put some damage on him at least.
It's true. He rolls, he hits. And remember, this is a Def 8, so I mean it's pretty easy to hit. But he rolls really bad right there. He rolled terribly.
And Snake Eyes.
Yeah, rolls Snake Eyes.
For the second time on Judy.
This turn is just a story of a bunch of fail on Judy.
Spoilers. But yes. Yeah, first Snake Eyes, I kill my own Chieftain. Second Snake Eyes, at least it's not an assault shot.
That's true. I would have loved for it to be an assault shot.
my own model again.
Just drills his own model in the back.
Good.
Would have been so great. That is the one thing about Menoth. You don't really have to worry about a whole lot. You don't have to worry about drilling your own model in the back with a shot because, well...
You have Assault faction, don't you?
I do.
Oh,
I have parents.
I
have parents, but...
Parents have it. The Reckoner,
has it. It's true. But, I mean, there's... If you're smart about it, you won't be hurting yourself with it.
Yeah. So, my War Spear is continuing to fail. I'm still trying to figure out, can the Blightbringer do it? I work on backing Fagrosh up to get far enough away to be able to cast Draconic Blessing and hopefully stay outside of Killbox. Which, thank God, I'm able to pull off. So, I'm outside of the book. I'm checking my spray. I can get a model. However, that would also mean my War Spear. I don't have good luck against my War Spears. I've made that mistake too many times already this game. So, with Draconic Blessing, I think I Tenacity myself for free because I can at this point. Anyways, Operation Kill Judicator. Commence! And that's going to turn out well. So, sending in the Blightbringer has to charge to get there. Speed 4. It's rough.
But when that thing hits, it has the potential to do a ton of damage.
That it does. He is a 5 Fury Beast at P+S 18 base with 2 attacks. That is not insignificant by any margin.
No, not least bit. I mean, the thing is he's such a good dual threat because I mean, with a 5-inch AOE that can.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they can really put. I mean, he does a great job. And then he gets in, and that tail giving you a 360 ability to attack. I mean, that's huge. That's awesome.
Huge.
I mean,
also has crit poison.
It has crit poison. What the heck?
If you crit.
The only downside of the Blightbringer is you can't do a sweep with him because he doesn't actually have a weapon.
No, he does not.
So you cannot sweep with a Blightbringer.
Yeah.
It's pretty unfortunate.
First horrible damage roll from the Blightbringer.
I think you're doing dice +1, so you do like 7 on the charge there.
When people says 20, I don't remember how much I am. Yeah, I think +1.
You're doing like dice +1, if I remember
right. I'm
right.
like, okay, dice happen. They can go higher, right? Right?
Well, 4.
Right?
4 to the 3.
No. So my first 2 attacks are horrible. Okay, they can get better, right? They get better. Dice are going to turn around. Dice will turn around.
Remember, rule number 1 of Warmachine is roll better.
So,
and he
okay.
misses.
No, that was good enough to hit.
Nope.
And hey, I got a better roll.
Hey, there it is.
I got a better roll. There we go. Roll it better. We're doing good. Keep buying those attacks. Try again.
He hits.
Hit.
Good news.
It's great. And that's another 3.
Really low.
Yeah. So
does essentially nothing.
Not essentially nothing. I still do damage. I'm +1. I can't not.
True.
Unless I miss.
True. Which, I mean, it's rough times.
Yeah.
It's right there.
So, all right.
And
this just gets frustrating for me at this point.
It was a rough turn, to say the least. Blightbringer was having a rough day.
Oh,
because he rolls 5.
So bad.
I'm like dying over on the other side of the table.
I'm thinking, great, I've lost my Blightbringer. I'm not doing great. I'm so low on War Spears. I have killed so many of my own.
Which, I mean,
Judicator is still alive.
To the credit of the Blightbringer, the Reliquary was gone. The whole right side of the damage grid was filled out. So I mean, there was a lot of damage. The right arm and the Reliquary were out.
Yeah.
So I mean, he did do a lot of damage. It just
but he's not dead.
It's true. He's not dead. There is not a giant wreck marker there.
No. So okay, now it's just all right. Can I kill it? Can I kill it? Can I still kill it?
Trying to see if we can charge with the Ravagore.
I can't.
Can't
get there. I can't shoot it with the Ravagore because he's immune to fire. I still have to activate the Shredder.
What happens is he's
gonna try.
End up charging the Shredder and going.
So he goes Rabid to get +2 speed and Pathfinder.
Going all out here.
Yep, and attempts to charge. So try to do this as accurately as possible because I know it's going to be a pretty close measurement. Drop down the proxy base just to figure this out. I'm hoping, you know what? It's not a high power attack, but it's an attack.
It is true.
Damage is damage, something. Right? It's a charge. It's boosted hit and damage because of Rabid. Really, I only need it for the speed buff. And turns out I am just shy of actually succeeding in the charge.
I mean, barely misses. And so,
yeah,
runs up. There's an obnoxious little yipping beast at the foot of mine.
I'm down to Shredder. I'm thinking I'm down to Blightbringer. Judy's still alive. You have the Vassal behind him to repair him.
It's true.
Game is not going well.
It's true.
And at this point I realize, oh hey, Zealots are clumped up. Let's kill some of them.
Yes.
Small victories in the turn. I just got to do that at least.
So puts Dragon's Fire up, and then boosts the shot, make sure he hits. It's only def 12, but I mean
it's still a 7.
Still and it was a good thing you did because you rolled I mean, that's what a 9.
6/1/2. Yep.
So I mean, and the AOE ends up landing on like 5 of them. It's pretty bad. I clumped pretty bad there. My positioning was not great.
And everybody that survives is on fire!
Everybody that survives is on fire.
And thankfully this is all simultaneous, so...
Yeah, so there's not the armor bonus that you get. Now here I'm measuring for the Reclaimer, to see what the Reclaimer gets if the Reclaimer pulls souls.
Yeah. Now, see, my Ravagore shows the Blightbringer how it's done.
Yeah,
He kills everything.
All 5 of them end up going
yeah, see,
where
were those for Judy? I mean, come on, guys. But, at least I killed some Zealots. There's a Scather template there. I killed something. I'm much more happy about that, but no lies. This was hard for me to not just stay on tilt.
So, turn happens. I'm really happy that Judy is still alive. Not so happy about the Scather template because I would really love those Zealots to run in and threat Thag. That would be great. That's kind of what I like doing with them. But with that Scather template there, I just can't do it because they're only 1 wound models, and so they just die. So I'm kind of deciding what I want to do here. I'm debating, like, is it a decent feat turn? Probably not. I mean, there's a lot on fire, but it's just not worth it at the moment. And I'm really trying to decide.
Do you really had an optimal feat turn?
Not really. The problem is with the 2 big bases on the table. For a good feat turn with Fiora, you need lanes, and you need to be able to get Fiora places. Take advantage of that fire step, get yourself to where you need to go, and then either charge something or move enough. But I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, with the huge base and you constantly hiding behind it, and then the forest right there, it really doesn't seem like.
And the other problem too is, I mean, I guess killing models isn't really a problem, but your War Spears disappeared. Yep. They were on the board and then they weren't on the board, and so I didn't have as much fire as I would like.
And we both did it.
It's true, we both did it. So, yeah, I mean, rough times. So, go ahead and parade battle. Got everything that I needed to get. That was pretty nice.
Yep.
I go ahead and I'm not sure what that was.
I think you're swinging at the War Spear.
I might be.
There is a War Spear.
Oh, I was. That was when I randomly measured my melee range, and I'm not sure why I did because the Repenter was sitting right next to a War Spear.
Oh, right.
But yeah, so I cranked the War Spear with a couple hits from the Repenter. I ended up allocating it 1 focus because I was like, I'm sure the Repenter won't finish this up, and it didn't in 1 hit, and I needed the second hit, so it did. Yep. But there goes more fire for the feet.
Yay.
Which is unfortunate.
I'll take it.
But whatever. Say love you, right?
Yep.
So here we are. I'm spending way too much time thinking over what I need to do, especially when I don't have time. So here I move the book through the cloud just to get closer to Thags and keep casting that anti-magic. Just trying to kind of chase Thags around the board and make him have to keep moving.
Well, at least on that side I can still move sideways and help, but now there's that rough terrain patch.
It's true. And so, I mean, that was not a terrible...
No, that thing is annoying to deal
there. I think I accidentally had my book facing backwards too. From looking at that camera angle, looks like he's totally facing the wrong way. But that's okay. It didn't really matter anyways. So right here, I'm like, okay, Paladin, charge objective. I'm ready to get rid of this thing. So he hits automatically.
Yeah, I'm thinking, all right, my objective can do something like light something on fire.
Charging,
this could be good.
Charging, power strength, 14, weapon master. I'm gonna roll and blam,
it goes away.
I mean, it just disappears
right there.
I did 15 points of damage after taking the 4 off. It was great.
So you one-shot it anyways.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The Repenter here walks up and sprays something.
More damage!
Yeah, sprays. I think the Ravagore, or I end up spraying. Yeah. I think I try to. No, I think this is where I end up spraying like sideways to try and clear out. To try and clear out the War Spear and clear out the little yippee beast there. can't remember its name.
Shredder.
The Shredder. There it is.
But the way you target, you actually don't get the Shredder.
Yeah, I end up missing the Shredder, which is.
By the way,
kind of
me
unfortunate.
tapping is trying to taunt to. It's like, you should spray your own guy.
Yeah,
Help
the whole
me out.
time he's sitting here telling me to like throw bombs at my own zealots and spray my own paladin and generally do things that Menites sometimes do.
To other people, at least.
Racks are a thing.
Yes.
I'm almost positive Fiora will end up on a rack at some point in life, but you know, whatever. So I miss. Actually, I hit both of them.
Yeah,
because
you
I
did
end
hit
up
both.
clipping the Blightbringer, but it doesn't really matter because armor
19.
19 versus power strength 12. I'm doing dice minus 7, and it's already on fire, so it doesn't really matter. And once again, you see me here. Just I've said it so many times in this battle report, but wasting clock time. Wasting clock
sometimes
time.
it's just better to throw dice and then figure out the
Wasting
result.
clock time.
It's
So
practice.
right here,
It's time
the
and
mechanic
practice.
goes and heals. He does a pretty good job. He ends up healing what I needed to. Opens up the reliquary system in the right arm,
Yep, you
so
only
that I
need
can-
2 and you got it.
so that I can use that right arm there.
You
Which
actually
is,
forgot about opening up the reliquary too.
I did, but so I'm sitting here
But this is one of
wasting
those,
clock
again,
time.
it's-
Wasting clock time.
Yeah.
Figuring out what I wanna heal, what might be a good idea. You know, I'm kind of wanting. At this point, I'm thinking maybe if I can clear that zone and score it would be great, but doesn't quite happen. I load up the Judicator with souls because that's why the Reclaimer's there, to load up the Judicator and let Fiora be comfortable with lots of focus.
And camping Fiora immune to fire is a very hard can be a very tough nut for Legion to crack at times.
It's true. So here we go. I kind of sort of go into the tank here for a little while.
So
Pro
I think,
tip.
I think this is where we started debating or trying to figure out exactly how sweeps worked.
Yeah, which, pro tip, if you're under 15 minutes, going into the tank is not the correct thing to do.
Usually not the best. No.
And this right here is really what cost me the game, is this move right here. So, in wanting to clear the zone, I end up sweeping.
Yeah.
And
which, on one hand, it's 4 models in the one
which I mean, it's 4 models in the one sweep, but what I needed to kill was the Blightbringer.
Yes.
I really needed to kill the Blightbringer, and I don't. And it just...
You kept
really,
saying it, it's like, yes, I can beat back the Blightbringer.
Yeah, I was really scared
You can
of
kill it, I can
Thag's-
just beat him back.
of Thag's feet. But I mean, really, this cost me the game. Because if I had killed the Blightbringer, things would have been a whole lot better. But I ended up sweeping. It is what it is. Mistakes are made.
I mean, if
Learn.
you kill the Blightbringer, it's up to try to get my Ravagore to kill the Judicator, beat my Blightbringer back, keep it alive for a turn so it can attack the following one. And again, just the focus of my list is attrition.
It's true.
Just almost totally.
And the thing is if you kill the Blightbringer, next turn all of a sudden the Judicator is getting to fire on Thags, which is
That's
huge.
why I need to use the Ravagore to try to kill the Bringer.
which is huge.
Charge in, try to get it
And
done.
so I end up killing all of those models kind of along the side there.
Yeah. So
Well,
you hit everybody, and now we go to try to kill. Thankfully, since Judicators.
Yeah, I think I rolled really bad on that one War Spear there.
Yeah,
I
well,
rolled dice minus
he's not in the
1.
zone. Doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, I rolled dice minus 1.
Everybody's on fire.
Then
And Shredder dies.
I cranked the Shredder, one shot it, which I mean isn't that hard. It's a lesser beast.
Yeah.
Done that with a Knight Exemplar Seneschal. It's not too hard. On the other War Spear, I'm rolling here, and I don't do too bad on the damage. I think it's enough to get it off the board.
Yep. More fire tokens disappearing. from
Yeah, and once again, like I said, just a dumb move
the-
on my part, because then I only get 2 hits at dice plus 3 on the
That's
Blightbringer.
right. We forgot battle calculations in this one.
Yeah, because we ended up forgetting battle calculations on the strength, on the damage roll.
Yeah, which is enough to kill that war spear.
Yeah, which is enough to kill the war spear. It is.
I guess
well,
not.
no, it's not quite, because I think Fiora ends up killing it.
That's right.
But yeah. But like I said,
yeah, from +1 to +3, it's suddenly a lot worse for the bringer.
If I hadn't done that sweep, I would have been sitting here rolling.
You'd be
doing 6 attacks with the Vassal attack.
You had to spend 1 to sweep, which that would have been 3 initials into Blightbringer right there, as opposed to those sweep attack.
So I mean, figuring dice +3, get some decent rolls. That Blightbringer's no longer on the board.
Yes,
but obviously that's not what happens. So
with decent rolls, Judicator's also off the board.
It's true. It's true. Judicator shouldn't be sitting on the board right now. The Judicator should probably be dead. But I do that, and I kind of realized after I did that I just screwed myself over for the game. You see here, it took me like 5 minutes just to do the Judicator's turn, and all I was doing was punching people.
Yep.
I ended up moving Fiora, just scooting her over a little bit, getting her in reach range, and then she offs that
offs the war spear.
That war spear there.
By the way, you gotta admit, sweeps are still fun.
Sweeps are a lot of fun. I will never deny that. I go ahead and boost here just because I'm like, I think I don't want to risk it. I'd rather you die. So I boost.
Yeah, he's one of the few models I can get close enough to.
I boost, really and then I roll really good damage.
He did!
He was dead without the boost, and then I rolled the boost, and it was 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. He did.
God,
no more spears.
And then the Zealots go, and I don't know what the Zealots
more
are
carpet
doing.
bombing.
Yeah. With the Scather there, it's a bit hard. I think I didn't do anything.
You went
with
back
them.
to warding.
I prayed warding, just kind of whatever.
Yeah. No carpet bombing.
Yeah. So here you see 8 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock as opposed to 21. Fire goes off on Thags.
Thank God.
What can you do?
Fire damage rolls on the last 2 or on my bees.
And of course, I'm just rolling, not really caring what I get because the clock's running low.
Yep. But at this point, he did the sweep. My Blightbringer is still alive. I realized, okay, I might still be able to win this. I still have to kill Judicator. And at this point, I'm just going, okay, if I can kill your Jacks, I'm not too afraid of your troops. I can camp high enough to get through all the Zealots. If I can kill the Judicator especially, if you manage to get rid of the Blightbringer, I can beat it back and still be okay. So first thing I do is I have my Shepherd move up, heal the Blightbringer back up so I don't have to use Thags to do it. Ultimately, not sure if that was the right move or not, just because while I can't cast spells on the Covenant, I can still heal, and using the Shepherd to heal means I can't whip Fury off later, and considering how much I want to camp in this match, c'est la vie. I did what I did, just to make order of activations easier in case I could get Thags outside of the book. So, Operation Kill Judy, round 2. Here we go.
Lots of dice rolling. I think it didn't take too long.
Nah,
he rolls fairly decent. He was banged up. He takes some fairly decent damage here. You did the
yeah.
I mean, just
not dead yet. And
I mean, I think that removes it right there.
Yep.
It's. I think that's enough to.
So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I could kill the objective and go for a scenario, or I can try to kill the Jack and take out the more threatening pieces to the rest of my army. I'm up on clock, so I'm thinking scenario's not as big a deal for me right now. I'm just going to keep going on the attrition mindset. So I go for the Jack. Try to do what I can. And with that damage roll, I guess my Blightbringer really just needs 2 rounds for any Jack to try to kill it.
Yeah, and of course you're swinging on a light right now, which is only armed 17.
Yeah, so I'm dice plus 2 or dice plus 3 with Draconic Blessing on.
It's not huge. I mean,
yeah, but
expecting a Repenter to stand up against a Blightbringer is
that's not going to happen. But the Blightbringer's sneaked up, so I just want to reduce as many threats as possible. And there I miss.
Yeah, missed because life.
Yeah, so I put the Blightbringer at full. I can't transfer to it. It's so banged up, I don't really care at this point.
And he ends up leaving the Repenter on 1 box. He's got a Cortex left, so I mean it's pretty much useless. It's rolling 1 dice on everything. I can't get the Vassal Mechanic over there in order to heal it because the Vassal Mechanic was kind of the Judicator support piece. So
at the same time, I'm thinking, man, my Blightbringer can't 1 round a Jack. What is going on? So, anyways, the 1 Repenter's at 1 box. Just trying to figure out, okay, there's Zealots. Again, I can tank up. Don't care too much. Just camp. Eliminate all the other threats. So, also just double checking that Fiora does not have Pathfinder. So, that wreck marker in the
if Fiora had Pathfinder, loads, that'd be incredible.
That would be frightening. So, activate the Ravagore. I go to charge the other Jack. Just I'm hoping at this point he's within 5 inches of the Blightbringer because he did Withering Ash, which is concealment. Enemy models suffer -2 defense and lose tough, which thankfully you are inside Withering Ash. So my Ravagore becomes effectively Mat 7,
which is really good for
Mat 7, POW 16. That beast suddenly becomes very competent in melee.
It's true. I mean, rolling good also helps.
It does.
Good dice.
It's not my Blightbringer, so we can do this.
Good dice rolls. Good dice rolls.
Yep.
But I mean, on the charge, I mean, you're doing dice. That's like dice -1.
POW 16, yeah.
Dice -1. But I mean,
it's a light versus a heavy. I should be able to kill it.
Definitely. So I mean, there's 9 points there. I don't think it takes you too long to.
Nah, I think I get it in the next attack. Yeah, I get him on this one. So.
And rolls 11.
My Ravagore shows the Blightbringer how it's done.
Just gone.
Yep.
And it is what it is. And here we go. We realize I don't have any wreck markers.
Yep.
For my medium-based Jacks.
Thankfully, I have quite a few, so I just go grab one of mine.
Grab one, throw it in there.
Yep. But as long as you should get your own, but at least you have opponents that usually have them.
It's true. And to be fair, a lot of these things you can pick up on some of the gaming sites that are pretty popular. Kind of these flat 2D things are really helpful. Yeah, the 2D hills, the 2D
terrain,
forests.
The terrain you guys see there and that wreck marker come from hidden forest terrain. They're really good quality for the price.
Good quality for the price, and you're not balancing your models precariously on some weird hill. And they're going to fall over, and like Fiora's arm pops off or something like that, and I'm sitting here swearing profusely because gluing that thing back on is a pain.
Or trying to figure out how to balance your model on the edge of a hill.
Trying to figure out how to balance a Blightbringer on the edge of a hill.
I do that regularly enough.
It's true.
Anyway, so Dagrosh went after the Paladin because, hey, it's a threat. Let's get rid of it. I'm still inside the book, so I can't cast any spells. So I opt to just heal. I heal 2 points. I go for the Blightbringer, realizing it's like now that most of the threats to the Blightbringer have been extinguished, I figure, all right, time to start healing him back up, get as many boxes back on him as possible, and at this point, I can just let that piece run the game.
True. So here, beginning of this turn, pretty much all my Jacks are gone. I've got one Jack that's sitting on a Cortex box. And really, I kind of realized at this point in the game, like, well, I think this game is gone.
Stupid book!
I think this game is over with. So I move the book. I'm just kind of chasing Thags around the table. The thing is, I forgot that the tail on the I forgot that the tail on the Blightbringer has 360. So yeah, but yeah, I kind of realized there was no way I was gonna be able to get Fiora anywhere near Thags. I entertained for more time than I should have, trying to feat and then take on the Blightbringer with Fiora and just be like, take this, Blightbringer. But I
was
don't
kind of surprised you did, just to try to finish him off.
I mean, I thought about it, but you know, sometimes
it was worth leaving her that close to Thags with that low of a camp.
Yeah, I didn't really like it, and I was like, you know, sometimes understanding what reality is the better part of strategy.
Moral victories.
So here I'm rolling to try and hit Thags with some zealots and missing and scattering.
Damage is damage.
Damage is damage, but and here I think we switch over because we wanted to see, could a 2.5 drift off of a medium base model, and it turns out it's like 2.59 inches to drift off
2.59 inches to drift off
a medium base model. So if the zealot's at max distance, it cannot drift off of a medium base model because it can only drift 2.5 inches.
That is correct.
Which is great. But when
I have charts for all of these stored in my phone. They're a really useful tool to have in situations like these because 0.09 inches is really easy to accidentally mess up.
It's true, especially in Warmachine when precise measuring is.
Of course, we say this now, and people can go back and look at all the times we fudged other rules. And...
Oh, entirely. people can go back and look at all the times that we talk about. We've just talked about precise measuring, and I'm sitting here looking at my zealots like, that's 12
it's like,
inches.
oh, to clear this deck. Oh wait, that doesn't work. We go over here.
Okay, maybe. And you know, like remembering, oh, battle gives +2 strength.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Oh gosh.
And never a token by your book.
But
we know what it did.
Like I like to say, Warmachine, Hordes, the game of not knowing how to play Hordes. You know.
If you find a perfect game, I want to watch it. I haven't watched one yet.
Find a perfect game. They don't exist. Even the finals at WTC, they're not perfect. They're sitting here, something happens, the judge has to get called over.
Yeah, that's why you see judges on the table at times. Like, literally on the table.
Though I feel like that'd be a little bit dangerous if they're standing on the table. Like,
okay, not actually standing, but kneeling.
So yeah, I mean, here, wasting more clock. You can see the clock there is like 5:36. I kind of...
honestly, at this point, I was happy you weren't shooting at my shepherd.
You know, realizing that time was running out and seeing what it was, like such is life. I'll deal with it.
Yeah,
there it goes. I think I blew up my own zealot.
You did.
All right, I think you've killed 5 of my zealots and I've killed 3 of them. You know,
something like that,
or 2 of them, or something silly like that.
Yeah. So yeah, you're asking me how many boxes the Blightbringer has.
Yeah, this is when I was entertaining, like, can Fiora take on the Blightbringer and just put the thing away?
Yeah.
And the thing that I hate about Thags,
by the way,
especially Thags 1,
I do want to point out for this one, for the record, if you really want to, when you are this low on clock, when you're asking hitboxes like that, you can ship the clock over to me if you want.
It's true. It's true.
It's a sportsmanship thing.
It's true.
As long as both opponents are cool
okay
with it and you have a good game at the end, it doesn't matter.
And really, that's one of the things that I love about kind of the Warmachine meta.
Yeah.
As a whole, is that, I mean, it's a pretty stand-up community, and and every now and then you'll run into a player that's maybe a little bit on the rough side, or complains about things, or whatever. But for the most part, it's pretty decent meta, and people are pretty good sports. I mean, even in high-level competition games, you'll see people being very, very, very willing to accept mistake and to forgive mistake and to just be.
This past Warmachine weekend was standout for sportsmanship.
That's definitely a true statement. I wasn't there personally. I know you were. But
I didn't watch all the games, but
I know getting to
still just in general, even watching them on the stream and hearing about it afterwards.
Definitely watching the games, kind of watching the games after they happen, watching them on YouTube, just seeing these high level players who are playing at like an international level, just being so understanding,
so understanding and forgiving when obvious things are missed or anything like that.
So here I'm running Fiora.
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
put stuff in front of the Blightbringer.
Maybe I can chase Thagrosh down. Fiora's pretty quick. She's got Fire Step, right? She can Fire Step into a place, maybe feet charge Thags, but you know, I also only have 3 minutes left on the clock. I'm sitting here like, what do I do? Wasting time, and clock at 2:54.
And I immediately ship it back because fire.
And I'm like, I don't care. This doesn't hurt anybody. Clock.
Yep. Like, nope. Fire damage rolls, they're on your time.
Definitely.
They can't go out.
And this is where the game gets really dry.
Yeah, we're gonna have about... it's only about 4 minutes.
But just...
Anyways, surprisingly, my Ravagore doesn't frenzy. I would not have had a problem with him frenzying, as the model I just pointed at would have been the frenzy target.
Wouldn't have mattered.
But, nah, I really wouldn't have.
I think at this point in the game, there wasn't really anything that would
my
have hurt you.
Blightbringer owns
Your
this game. Your
Blightbringer is sitting there. I
still have my Shepherd.
I've got essentially 2.5 minutes on the clock. I don't have enough time to really do anything.
No, and now is when I finally start thinking about, okay, maybe I could do some scenario stuff. Also, screw that book.
Yes, this is where that 360 really comes in.
Yeah, so I moved the Blightbringer as far as I can to see if I can stab Fiora if that placement got messed up. Turns out it didn't. So, it's good on your part. But...
Pro tip number 6 billion. Learn what 2 inches looks like.
Yes. Anyways, kill the Jack.
Yes. He just cranks my 1 box Repenter.
Yep.
And
got it done.
There it goes.
Got it done. For the second time this game, second round, though, trying to kill the Jack, the Blightbringer can do it.
Though, moral victories, he did not kill my entire battle group.
No.
Because
no, I did not.
He never kills the Hierophant.
Hierophant isn't actually part of your battle group. He's an attachment. That's a different thing. But Fiora is part of your battle group. Anyways, now I'm finally going, oh, hey, I can score some scenario points, so let's go for the objective. Either that or at this point I was swinging at the book and realized I had just missed.
Yeah, you were swinging on the book.
Oh, yeah, I was swinging on the book.
And trying to kill the book, because...
Screw the book.
Screw the book. The book disappears. There it goes. Goodbye.
Yeah. So, Thagrosh can cast spells again. Hooray!
And then the Vassal's right there, and so I think you decide to go ahead and buy and swing on the Vassal, which is a 13-13. You roll Byoxcars to hit, and at dice plus a billion, I think it just explodes.
Yep. Goodbye, objective. So, no, that's right. I did the attacks all on the objective for that one.
That's true.
It's like, alright, hopefully my Ravagore can go in and kill those last 2 guys.
Finishing them off, that's right.
Because at least that guy has Pathfinder.
It's hard to remember how many things get killed and who they get killed by.
At this point, yeah.
When we're an hour into the game. 2.5 hours.
Oh, we're at the hour 48 mark.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting late. Game's almost over, though. It's all good.
It's true. It's true.
So, Ravagore goes in. It's his job to try to finish clearing the zone. Blightbringer doing Withering Ash gives my opponents -2 defense again, which, again, really helps make the Ravagore a nice little melee beast.
And there goes the mechanic.
Yeah.
Bjorn the mechanic. That's what I like to call him.
Bjorn.
He got named after he beat a Kaios the Eliminator. With his wrench.
Nice. Anyways.
And there goes the Vassal.
Ravagore finishes it off. I have the only stuff in the zone. Hooray! Time to score 3 control points. I measure I cannot advance in, so thankfully, healing you can do when your Warlock runs. So time to just insult to injury, keep healing the Blightbringer up, and score some control points because I can.
So
Also, get away from Fiora.
Yeah. There he runs and scores points. My turn starts. I'm thinking maybe run the Zealots up, put a little bit of damage there.
Yeah, and without thinking about it, I forget that the Shepherd has reach and can make free strikes.
It's true. So obviously, mistakes there. Mistakes are made.
Yeah.
Like I said, no perfect game exists. Obviously, neither of us are.
Yeah, and that guy ended up being just out.
Which was frustrating because I think I miss. I don't think I hit him.
No, I thought you caught him with Blast.
I may have. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, you caught him with Blast.
So we're sitting here discussing things, and clock's ticking away. I roll, can't hurt him. He is in range. I need to, that'll hit him. I'm rolling dice -2, which you transfer to the Ravagore.
Yep.
Because it's just good practice. And then right here, I think I roll, and then we realize that I can't actually hit with him.
Yeah, at this point I remember, hey, my Shepherd has reach.
Which, the great thing is that I scatter and don't hit anything, because it scatters
that's
right in the middle of nothing, and I miss. And then you mention it.
Yeah,
right there. You can't actually swing with him.
Haha!
Amazingly, the Monolith Bearer has survived the entire game and has proceeded to walk.
I usually scalpel that guy out as fast as I can.
So here, I move the Hierophant up. Harmonious Exaltation.
You have nothing in the zone, do you?
No, I don't.
Oh.
No, like, the end of this game is really rough. It's bad.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm, like, grabbing extra tokens for my feet, measuring my feet, wasting
considering
time.
there are only 2 models.
2 models on
I
fire.
have 4 models on the table, and 2 of them are on fire.
So, here we go. 46 seconds left. I don't have enough time to really do anything, but I think I do.
Yeah.
So I'm
time to go have fun with Fiora.
I fire step over 3.
You do.
I screw my placement up pretty bad.
You harmoniously exalted, so it costed less.
Cost 1. I fire step, kind of screw my fire step up, and end up stepping into that 360 arc of the.
No, you were just flat out in his front arc.
Yeah, it was bad.
I only have 360 when declaring attacks. I don't have it on other turns, but at this point, you are just flat out in the Blightbringer's front arc within 2 inches.
It's bad, and you'll see here 10, 9, 8. And I'm not looking at the clock. I'm sitting here like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I measure, control, clocks, I look down, and I'm like, oh, well, doesn't matter.
So I
say I feet, and then I move fire over, and then I'm like, wait, never mind. That's...
Yeah, neither of us have realized the clock.
That's nothing. I put it down.
I need to turn the sound back on that thing somehow.
Anyways. We shake hands. Good game. There it is. Kind of an
Legion victory. I guess technically 5 points to 1. Yeah, you got my objective. That's about it.
I suppose. Yeah, that's how it goes. Kind of an anticlimactic ending to the game.
Yeah. That I had to keep myself from staying on tilt in that game, which. Just one more reason, play all your games to the end, because you really don't know how it's going to happen.
Definitely. It's a very true statement. Play things out, roll things out. Obviously, there are times when conceding is just the thing to do to like save time if it's a game that you're kind of on a time constraint. But play things out, roll the dice out.
Just play it out. Learn how to play that late game.
Definitely learn how to play the late game.
Yeah. Well. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this far. This is our first report. I have certain format changes that I want to do in the future. Anyways, please leave comments, subscribe, let us know what you would like to see, let us know what was good, what was not so good. We will appreciate your feedback. Anyways, see you next time.